People love a good puzzle. It is part of who we are. Think about it. When you see a closed box, don't you want to know what is inside? When someone tells you a secret, don't you lean in closer to listen? This feeling is called curiosity. It is a powerful thing. It pushes us to ask questions. It makes us look for answers. Mysteries are the biggest puzzles of all. They are stories with a missing piece, a question mark at the very end that no one has been able to erase. This is why we find them so interesting and why they capture our imagination so completely. We are all detectives in our own way. We like to gather clues, we enjoy trying to connect the dots. An unsolved mystery gives our brains a fun challenge. It is like a game where the rules are not clear, and the prize is a small piece of the truth. These stories from long ago or from faraway places pull us in. We read about them in books. We watch shows about them on television. We talk about them with our friends, each person offering a different idea or a new theory. The mystery becomes a shared experience, a puzzle that we all try to solve together from the comfort of our homes. These tales are more than just simple stories. They are windows into the past and into the strange things that can happen in our world. They remind us that we do not know everything. There are still shadows where the light of knowledge has not yet reached. These unsolved cases are like dark corners of history, full of whispers and what-ifs. They challenge what we think we know about the world and about people. They are exciting because they are real. These events happen to real people, and the questions they left behind are still floating in the air, waiting for someone clever enough to catch them. So, let's put on our detective hats. Let's look at some of the world's greatest puzzles. These are the cases that have made smart people scratch their heads for years and years. They are famous because the questions are big, and the answers are nowhere to be found. We will journey back in time. We will sail across ghost-like oceans. We will explore stories that have been told and retold, yet the final chapter remains unwritten. Prepare to be puzzled. Prepare to wonder. These are the mysteries that stick with you, long after you have turned off the lights. Our first mystery takes us back to the year 1587. A group of more than 100 English settlers traveled across the vast ocean. They wanted to start a new life in America. They landed on Roanoke Island, which is near the coast of what is now North Carolina. Their leader, a man named John White, had to sail back to England to get more supplies. He left behind his family, including his granddaughter, Virginia Dare. She was the first English child born in the Americas. He promised everyone that he would return as quickly as he could with the things they needed to survive. John White's journey back to England took much longer than he expected. A big war broke out between England and Spain, and every available ship was needed for the fighting. He was unable to sail back to Roanoke for 3 long years. Imagine how worried he must have been, thinking about his family and the other colonists waiting for him. He must have looked out at the sea every single day hoping for a chance to return to them. Finally, in the year 1590, the war ended, and he was able to get a ship and make the long voyage back across the Atlantic Ocean. When John White finally arrived back at Roanoke Island, he found something strange and unsettling. The settlement was completely empty. All the houses and buildings were gone. All the people had vanished. There were no signs of a struggle or a battle. It was as if the entire colony had simply disappeared into thin air. The only clue he found was a single word carved into a wooden post. The word was Croatoan. There was no other message, no sign, and no cross, which they had agreed would be a signal of danger or distress. So, what happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? That is the question that no one has been able to answer for more than 400 years. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island and also the name of a Native American tribe that lived there. Did the settlers go to live with the tribe? Perhaps they tried to sail back to England on their own and were lost at sea. Or maybe something else happened, something that left no clues behind. John White was never able to find out. Bad weather stopped him from searching Croatoan Island, and he had to return to England with a heavy heart, never knowing the fate of his family. Now let's sail forward in time to the year 1872. Our next mystery happens on the cold, wide-open Atlantic Ocean. A ship named the Mary Celeste set sail from New York City. It was headed for Genoa, Italy. On board was the captain, Benjamin Briggs, his wife, his young daughter, and a crew of 7 experienced sailors. The ship was carrying a cargo of industrial alcohol. Everything seemed perfectly normal. The captain was known to be a good and fair man. The crew was skilled, the weather was fine. The journey was supposed to be a standard trip across the sea. About a month later, another ship called the DEI Gracia spotted the Mary Celeste, drifting aimlessly in the ocean. The captain of the DEI Gracia knew something was wrong. The sails were up but were torn and messy. The ship was moving strangely as if no one was steering it. He sent a few of his own crew members over in a small boat to investigate. They called out, but there was no answer. They climbed aboard the silent ship, their footsteps echoing on the empty deck. They searched everywhere, from the captain's cabin to the crew's quarters below. The ship was completely deserted. The strange thing was that the ship was in good condition. The cargo of alcohol was still there, untouched. There was plenty of food and water to last for months. The personal belongings of the crew and the captain's family were still in their rooms. A meal seemed to have been left unfinished on a table in the dining area. The ship's logbook had its last entry written 10 days earlier, but it did not mention any problems. The only thing missing was the ship's single lifeboat. And of course every single person who had been on board was gone. Why did 10 people leave a perfectly good ship in the middle of the ocean? This is the mystery of the Mary Celeste. If there was a storm, the ship should have been more damaged. If there were pirates, they would have stolen the valuable cargo. Some people think the alcohol cargo might have started to leak, and the captain, fearing an explosion, ordered everyone into the lifeboat. Maybe the rope connecting the lifeboat to the ship broke, and they were left behind, but no one knows for sure. No trace of Captain Briggs, his family, or his crew was ever found again. These stories, from the quiet island of Roanoke to the silent deck of the Mary Celeste, are more than just old tales. They are important reminders. They teach us that the world is a very big and often mysterious place. We have learned so much through science and exploration, but there are still puzzles we cannot solve. These gaps in our knowledge are not failures. Instead, they are invitations. They invite us to think, to wonder, and to use our imaginations. They show us that there is always something new to discover just around the corner. It is human nature to want answers. We like things to be neat and tidy, with a clear beginning, middle, and end. Unsolved mysteries do not give us that. They leave us hanging. But maybe that is their true power. They keep our minds active. They encourage us to look at a problem from many different angles. Every person who hears these stories becomes a detective for a moment, trying to piece together the clues and come up with their own solution. This act of thinking and questioning is how we learn and grow. It is the very engine of progress. We may never know what was carved on that post after Croatoan. We may never find out why 10 people abandoned the Mary Celeste. But the search for answers is what truly matters. This desire to understand is what leads to great discoveries. It is what pushes scientists to explore the deepest oceans and the farthest stars. It is what drives historians to dig through dusty records, looking for a single, forgotten clue. Every question we ask is a step forward on the path of knowledge, even if the final answer remains just out of our reach for now. So, do not be afraid of the things you do not know. Embrace the mystery. Stay curious. Keep asking questions about the world around you. Read, learn, and explore. The next great discovery could be waiting for you. The world is full of puzzles, big and small, from historical enigmas to the simple wonders of nature in your own backyard. The most important thing is to never stop looking for the answers, because the journey of discovery is often more exciting and rewarding than reaching the destination itself. The search is what makes us human.